explore the details of the most horrifying and bloodiest night in the history of the Ottoman Empire. On the night of January 19, 1595, an unbearable cold descended upon the city of Istanbul. The Ottoman Sultan Murad III was breathing his last breaths alone on his bed. At the same time, 18 palace servants crept into the rooms of the Sultan's male children and killed them one after the other, using delicate silk cords for strangulation. While these events were unfolding, the Sultana Safiye sat quietly within her private quarters, drinking coffee. Her eyes were serpent-like, and her face devoid of life, as the chief eunuch, Gazanfer Aga, informed her of the prince's deaths. A devilish smile appeared on her face, and she ordered him to place their bodies in coffins and bury them the next morning beside their father, the Sultan. This moment was the pinnacle of triumph in Safiye's life, a historic moment that left its prominent mark both before and after. It was the moment that ultimately made her one of the most prominent sultanas in the era of the Sultanate of Women. This was the era during which the Ottoman Empire was led by a group of skillful concubines who, through their cunning schemes and plans, managed to eclipse the sultans from the House of Osman, thus allowing them to control events and leaving the rulers with the mere title of king without any real meaning. Sources differ regarding the origin of Sultana Safiye, with some suggesting that she was of noble Venetian origin, with her original name being Sofia Baffo, the daughter of Coppo Iundardo, the governor of Venice. Others believe she was of Albanian origin and born in the highlands of Dukagjin. Regardless of the correct opinion, in 1563, Safiye, at the age of 13, was sold in the slave market in Istanbul. She was purchased by Sultana Humasha, the daughter of Prince Mehmed, son of Suleiman the Magnificent, and was gifted to the heir apparent, Prince Murad, the son of Sultan Selim II. Quickly, Safiye captivated Murad's heart, preventing him from having relations with any other woman in his bed. On May 26, 1566, she gave birth to her first son and future heir, Prince Mehmed Khan. Given her presence in Istanbul during the golden years of the Ottoman Sultanate's Harem period, where there was a shortage of strong men, Safiye exhibited great ambitions to achieve the same status that her predecessors had held in the Ottoman court, from Suleiman the Magnificent's concubine to Nurbanu, Selim II's concubine. This great ambition is what led her to significant conflicts with these previous women. Since the death of Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent, Nurbanu had effectively controlled the affairs of the Ottoman Sultanate, both during her husband Selim II's reign and her son Murad III's reign. This was thanks to the alliance she had established with the Grand Vizier Sokolu Mehmed Pasha and the chief eunuch in the palace, Gazanfer Aga. When Safiye emerged as a serious rival after Murad ascended to the throne, Nurbanu tried to diminish the influence of the young concubine Safiye by breaking her monopoly over the Sultan's bed. Initially, when Murad refused this, Nurbanu accused Safiye of bewitching her son. Although Murad III eventually sided with Nurbanu and accepted the concubines gifted to him by his sister, Sultana Asmahan, Safiye's status remained unshaken. As a result, Nurbanu reorganized her private harem, assigning a special room for Prince Mehmed and his mother, Safiye, to ensure they remained under her surveillance and to avoid any plots they might devise against her. Despite this, the cunning Safiye continued her battle against her rival Nurbanu within the harem until Nurbanu's poisoned death on December 7, 1583. It is claimed that her death was caused by poisoning at the hands of an agent from the island of Genoa. While Safiye's role in this assassination may be closer to the truth, especially given her involvement in several assassinations within the palace in the following years, it remains unconfirmed. In any case, with the death of Nurbanu and the assassination of Grand Vizier Sokolu in 1579, the way was completely open for Safiye to take her role as a sultana with unlimited influence in the court of her husband, Sultan Murad III. Murad III had a weak personality, making him susceptible to the influence of his mother and then to the control of his concubine. His decisions were influenced by his love for a life of luxury and pleasure, his interest in artistic gatherings, and his preference for them over matters of state and politics. Safiye's political role emerged when Elizabeth I sought an alliance with the Ottoman Sultanate against Spain. The English queen sought Safiye's help due to her influence in the court. Safiye agreed to mediate for the acceptance of the alliance on the condition that England renounce any recognition of submission. Safiye granted the English additional privileges in Ottoman ports, which helped avoid the Spanish economic blockade. These privileges opened the door to future interests for European countries in the Middle East after the collapse of the Ottoman Empire. When Murad III died in 1595, Safiye placed her son Mehmed III on the throne after executing all his 18 male siblings, as previously mentioned. Following this heinous crime, Safiye assumed the title of Valide Sultan, Queen Mother, with increased influence and authority over her son, Sultan Mehmed III, who became a mere puppet in her hands. Safiye became the de facto ruler, appointing and dismissing grand viziers, ministers, agas, and judges without any opposition. To ensure the elimination of any future challenges from male princes in the palace, Safiye devised a new method through her malicious ideas by abolishing the old laws that mandated the training of princes in various provinces for political and military affairs. She replaced them with a new law known as the Princes' Cages. According to this law, the male members of the Ottoman dynasty were confined within isolated wings inside the private harem. This had a profound impact on future Ottoman sultans, as these princes emerged from the cages suffering from severe psychological effects due to the deadly solitude they experienced, leading them to endure various forms of madness and psychological disorders. Safiye continued to wield her influence until the death of her son, Sultan Muhammad III, in 1603. When her grandson Sultan Ahmed IV ascended to the throne, he decided to relocate Safiye according to the rules of haremlik to the old palace. She became the mother of the Sultan, Valide Sultan Khandan, but the weak personality of Sultan Khandan opened the way for Safiye to continue influencing the affairs of the Ottoman Sultanate. A new concubine, Kosum Mahpaker, emerged, who was favored by Sultan Ahmed I for her strong personality, and she succeeded in finally reducing Safiye's influence. Kosum's rise led to Safiye's retreat and her eventual obscurity in the old palace until her death in 1619. This opened the door to a new era where Kosum became the dominant lady who ruled the fate of the Ottoman Empire for a full 40 years, with authority and influence.